All right, I'm going to give you guys my 9 award prediction winners, starting with Breakout Player of the Year on the offensive side. We're going to go with none other than South Dakota State University alum Dallas Goddard, the tight end out of the Philadelphia Eagles. He's graded out over a 74 all 3 years in the NFL. He's also graded out over the past 3 years combined as the number 7 best receiving tight end and the number 1 run blocking tight end over the 3-year period. If you stretch those statistics that he had this year over a 16-game season, his reception numbers and receiving yard numbers jump up. With the news that Zach Ertz is going to be traded sometime soon as the time of recording this, he's going to move up as the number 1 tight end in Philly. And on top of that, all he has to compete with is pass catching running backs. Receivers, there's Devonta Smith. We also have Jalen Reagor and Travis Fulgham. Really, none of these guys are actually going to step up and take anything from him. Look for Dallas Goedert to be a breakout player on the offensive side for 2021 and Jalen Hurts, favorite target. 2021 NFL predictions, and now it's time for the Defensive Breakout Player of the Year. Not really a traditional award, but something we're going to talk about nonetheless. And that for me is going to be former Florida State Seminole edge rusher for the Carolina Panthers. That is going to be Brian Burns. Now, this guy has kind of stepped up each year and has shown that he is a force to be reckoned with. Now, if the Carolina Panthers would have won more games last year, he would have been a Pro Bowler. Kind of got snubbed because he's not the name that other guys are, and that's okay. Give it some time. His 3rd year, he's going to jump up. But let's talk about some statistics that he had in 2020. He had 58 total tackles, 35 of those were solo, 9 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 4 pass deflections. He had 21 quarterback hits and 43 quarterback pressures on the year. He graded out with a 76.8 Pro Football Focus grade in 2020, giving him another year to step up as kind of that leader on the defensive line. He is going to elevate his game to Pro Bowl status, and he will no longer be a Pro Bowl snub come 2021 for Coach of the Year. Now, this is surprising that this guy has never won this award, and it is kind of, in my opinion, going to be a no contest in 2021, and that is for me, the Buffalo Bills head coach, Sean McDermott. A guy that's been overlooked for far too long, has revived this Buffalo Bills team that has kind of been almost irrelevant since the 90s and has now made them a powerhouse and a staple of the AFC and the NFL as a whole. Coming into 2021, the Buffalo Bills are bringing with them the number 2 overall offense based on last season and the number 14 defense based on last season. The offense was in the 20s 2 years ago, moved up to number 10 last year, in 2019, and this previous year, they got up to number 2. That's all because of Sean McDermott helping develop Josh Allen. A 4-year record of 38 and 26. However, over the past 2 years, the Buffalo Bills have been 23 and 9. This team has been rolling, and I look for them to make a deep run thanks to their head coach, Sean McDermott, who will no longer be overlooked. Continuing on now with Comeback Player of the Year. Now, historically, this award is won by guys that are coming off of injury, they're returning back to a dominant state, or just returning and having a good story. For me, I believe OBJ is going to win Comeback Player of the Year. Now, he only played in 6-ish games last year before tearing his ACL against Cincinnati Bengals in Week 7. Every season that OBJ has played at least 13 games in, he has had 1,000 yards, which is 5 times. I believe the Cleveland Browns are going to be the 2nd or 3rd best team in the AFC this year. They're going to take another step forward with that dominant roster. Great offensive line, Baker Mayfield taking another step forward, and the run game being as dominant as ever is going to leave OBJ in one-on-one situations that he's going to exploit come 2021. Now let's go with the rookies, and let's talk about Defensive Rookie of the Year. For me, that is going to be the 21st overall pick in this year's NFL Draft by the Indianapolis Colts. Defensive end Kwity Paye, coming out of Michigan, is a little bit undersized. He's about 6'2", 260 pounds. But for me, I'm not going to hold that against him. I've made a point this offseason to not doubt anybody's size going forward as a rookie. Now, what he's going to bring to this Colts is an upgrade at defensive end immediately. He's going to have an impact all 17 games this season. He is very explosive off the line. He is a relatively athletic defensive end, and he's a very hardworking player. He's one of those guys that is going to be disruptive to opposing quarterbacks all year round. And even if he doesn't hit double-digit sacks this year, I think he's going to be such a force in QB hits and pressures that is going to elevate him to the top of the defensive rookie. And at the end of the year, his impact is going to have the Colts defense sitting in the top 10. Offensive Rookie of the Year. For me, that is going to be the number 3 overall pick out of North Dakota State University going to the San Francisco 49ers, Trey Lance. Maybe a surprise to some of you, but for me, I'm not on the same boat as everybody else. I don't think he's going to maybe be like the last quarterback starting out of this group. I think there's a real shot that Trey Lance starts from week 1. From what we know, Trey Lance might be one of the smartest quarterbacks coming out of college in the most recent years. He's big, he's athletic, 6'4", 224 pounds. He's able to move the ball with his legs. He's got great touch on that ball. And with a 49ers offense that kind of seems to be set and built for him, he could have success out the gate. And if so, he's going to lead this team potentially back to the playoffs, which will then return to him an Offensive Rookie of the Year award. Defensive Player of the Year. For me, that is going to be Myles Garrett, defensive end from the Cleveland Browns. I think Myles Garrett has a huge chance to kind of take another step forward now that he's got more talent across the defensive line. The Cleveland Browns went out and they got Jadeveon Clowney to play opposite of Myles Garrett. Now, while Clowney's not going to sit here and be a sack master, he never really has been, he's dominant in the run game. What he's going to do, though, is going to stretch out the offensive line, and we're going to create more one-on-one matchups. One-on-one matchups mean a terrible thing for opposing offenses. Myles Garrett got 12 sacks in 2020. He's had 3 consecutive years of double-digit sacks. His forced fumbles improved up to 4 from the previous year. And I think with more one-on-one looks, Myles Garrett is going to be Defensive Player of the Year for 2021. Now let's talk about Offensive Player of the Year. And for me, that's going to be the returning guy, Christian McCaffrey. The only reason he doesn't win Comeback Player of the Year is because we don't think they're going to give out multiple awards to one guy. They should, but they don't. Now what we're going to say is Christian McCaffrey is the best non-quarterback in the NFL on the offensive side of the ball. Simple as that. Maybe I'm being biased because I'm a Carolina Panthers fan, but I think he had such a dynamic at both sides. Back in 2019, he set the world on fire, breaking a receiving mark only set by himself the year prior. In 2018, he had 107 receptions. In 2019, he broke his own receiving record by running backs, getting 116 receptions. And I think that this Carolina Panthers team having a little bit better offensive line, having more playmakers on the outside, could do wonders for Christian McCaffrey going forward. Expect another big year for Christian McCaffrey. And with 17 games, he's probably going to break over 2,500 all-purpose yards. The final individual award prediction for 2021. If you missed the other videos that I got going on, scroll back. I have 8 other awards that I predicted and giving out for 2021. But let's not delay anymore. MVP, it's time to talk about it. For me, I have the Buffalo Bills going 15-2, mainly because the MVP of the league, Josh Allen, is going to ball out. And this past year, 37-10. And on top of that, his completion percentage has jumped from 52 to 58 to 69%. Now it'll probably drop back down, but for me, it's going to fall around 64 to 65%. With them having a better run game, great offensive line play still. I mean, they improved their receiving core by bringing in Emmanuel Sanders as their number 3. Cole Beasley's a beast, and Stephon Diggs is a top 5 receiver in the NFL. If they can get a little bit better play out of their run game, it can make them unpredictable come 2021, which will lead Josh Allen in his improved play to an MVP and potentially a Super Bowl in 2021. Be sure to follow for more NFL content.